I guess we're the last thing before the alcohol. Awesome. It's going to get crazy.
We're going to make this so painless, and just think, in less than 45 minutes, you're going to have a cocktail.
Yeah. Just, there we go. Drink up. So, hey, here we are. I just read a post about Radiohead's actually for boring nerds, and I'm a boring nerd. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. So I'm going to talk today, we're going to talk about technology and creativity and really what I've learned and both of us learned about taking ad thinking and applying to technology and making products that really break through. And Cookie Monster, yeah. So I'm Winston, CDO.
I'm Pete Favat, CCO.
And together we are Pete Winston.
Pete Winston. We actually found this photograph because we share an office, and we have an email account that's together. And we found this dude who is a chess champion, but he went missing.
It's kind of a dark story, actually.
It's kind of a dark story. So then when you look at the photo, it's even creepier. So that's Pete Winston.
Well, he wasn't abducted. We know that. He just kind of went off the grid.
Oh,
but so he's reemerged as us.
He must have beat the Russians or something.
Maybe, yeah, exactly.
So a little bit about us, and I'm sorry I don't have this in front of me, so I got to turn around. We're from Deutsch. Deutsch was founded in 1969. It started us as a design agency, then expanded into advertising, technology, and design. We're in New York and LA. We have 969 marketing fanatics and 277 people who are dedicated to technology. We have 45 developers in LA, and I don't know how many we have in New York. But we like to build things ourselves. And it's one of the differences, one of the biggest things that we learned from someone like Winston, who's worked in RGA and other technology shops, to this maker culture of making things yourself. So we take great pride in that.
So disclaimer, we're explorers, not experts, or that's Dave Rolfe, or it looks like Dave Rolfe. But so it's funny, I met this guy the other night at Soho House, and I was explaining him, I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, and he had a beard, and he looked like an explorer. He's like, I'm an explorer. I'm like, that's funny, because I am too. He's like, no, I'm a real explorer. So I'm not, we're kind of fake explorers, but we're not experts either, so I don't know what this presentation, how it's going to go.
Yeah, then he said, what do you do? I'm in advertising. Yeah, you're not a fucking explorer.
Yeah.
Most of you may know us for this, and it's great, but it really bugs us. It bugs us that people would know us for just television, and we try to do amazing television, but we hate to be known just for that.
Yeah, and so that was now over 5 years ago, I think, which is like time flies. And a lot of what we've, really leaned into is in innovation. And, that's the work that we're really putting a lot of focus in. So, you may be asking still, it's 2016, but the reality is a lot of ad agencies or people in our industry aren't investing in technology talent, which we think is a problem. And there's for a few reasons why. One, attention is fucking scarce. Great book, you probably read it, because everyone has. It's How Brands Grow, Byron Sharp. He talks about 84% of ads not being recognized or not even being connected to back to a brand. It's really hard out there. 1 in 10 ads are seen as different. You need to expand your canvas from a marketing perspective, and we think that web and mobile and social and beyond are great places to do that. The next thing, you may have or may not seen this, looks like great news, hockey stick kind of gross, but it's actually not, right? This is ad blocking users. Kind of sucks. And that's an outdated number, so it's over 200 million, right? So we know that we live in a culture now where people can more easily evade us.
I mean, how many of you, we're all in advertising, I would suppose. How many of you actually don't skip by the ads? How many of you watch the ads and let them go by? What's that? This is true, right? There was a long talk, there was a talk a few years ago about charging lower rates for ads that were higher quality, which would be really interesting to do that, but never happened. Most people just skip by it, and that's what we are constantly battling is this skip culture. Any chance you get to skip by an ad, you'll take it.
Yeah, and I think it's 80% in TrueView now are skipped.
Right.
And of course they're figuring out the payment model, but the realities are it's people can easily pass us by.
So a few years ago, you would say this would be our competition. Great companies, CPB, Droga, Burnett, McCann, Y&R, BBH, the typical set.
Global Schmobile, too, don't forget that.
Global Schmobile. But that's not true anymore. Our competition now is Vice, BuzzFeed, as I like to say, two fuckers in a garage who are going to come up with a platform that's going to upend everything. You saw what happened in the record industry. We're watching what's happening, what Tesla's doing in the automotive industry. Someone, somewhere, will come up with something to make what we do irrelevant. And
well, it's also funny, it's because like a lot of people in the ad business, we self-deprecate, but it's like everyone wants in this business, right? Brands are currency.
Well, I mean, look at Accenture and Deloitte. They're powerhouses, right, in our space. The other thing is, so who knows InBev? That's Budweiser, Bud Light, largest brewer in the world. They have an entire agency network globally, but who do you think their largest spend? They spend more money with one company than all agencies rolled up. Who do you think it is? Nope. Anybody else? Vice. They spend more money with Vice than all their agencies combined globally. So if that doesn't open your eyes and say, holy shit, Houston, we have a problem, and we have to think about that constantly, and that's what we do. We try to. The other thing is, the other push is that the general public has become as creative or more creative than the creative industry. And I don't know how many people saw this Foo Fighter video from Italy. A DJ in Italy decided to get 1,000 musicians together to invite the Foo Fighters to come to Italy to play to a small town. Let's let it roll for a bit. You get the point. I don't know how you feel, but I saw this for the first time along with 22, 30 million other people, and I got jealous as shit. It's not for a brand. There's no brand associated with it. It was a simple invitation. The Foo Fighters actually came a couple months after he sent this out. But it's shareable content. And it's made by one guy who organized this thing for 1 year, and he got millions and millions of views. And that's what we're fighting for. So the general public has access and the creativity.
They've got drones, man.
To do better than we can, which also makes us a little worried.
Yeah. So this slide, the Bobs, they're trying to get rid of you and me. Not all of them. Not all clients are. But I think, I empathize with a lot of our clients, probably like you. They have to make a lot of shit now. There's so many channels, and the marketing budgets aren't getting bigger. So they're trying to find more and more ways to make things more cheaply and efficiently. And part of that is bringing it in-house. For those of us that have been in the business, we've seen these cycles before, but the realities are you have to bring more than just great ads to clients. You have to create more value and find new ways. And I actually think companies like Deloitte, which is $1 billion ad and digital business now, are doing a really good job of that. They started kind of in the back of the house with some of our clients, but they're buying creative agencies, and they're in more and more of our meetings, and they're finding new ways to create value. So the other thing, I've been a long believer, most of my favorite brands, going back to Starbucks, Amazon, and beyond, were built with no advertising whatsoever. Like Uber, I think, is the one we'd look at today. It's a media channel in its own right, but these guys built without ads. Now I think they're looking at Lyft and going, which is a killer, they have a great brand idea, riding is the new driving. They'll start advertising at some point. But we really believe the product is the message. And so we want to be not just writing ads and making marketing about products, but also building that marketing into our products that we create and co-create with our clients. Another thing, it's just great business, making giant web applications. A few years ago, we had a bit of a tough year, and a website really changed our business fortunes. And I want to go back to a story. I worked at RGA and Nike in the early 2000s, and as many know, I mean, Nike and RGA, that's a famed relationship. It put RGA on the map. It changed who they were. And Dan Wyden, from what I heard at the time, was Phil Knight wanted Wyden to do the web platform work, and they decided not to hire engineers. And I think that's a crazy mistake, because it would have really even changed that company more. So it's good business. Nerd power, like the good kind of nerd. I'm a boring nerd, but these are exciting nerds. So I've been a long believer in the idea that technology is creative. And it's kind of interesting, it's 2016, and when I say that to some people, they still don't get it in our industry, and that's a problem. Kevin Systrom, who invented Instagram, used to be an intern for Pete at Arnold. What'd you do, Pete?
Yeah, actually, when I found that out years later, I went back in the HR folder, found out, in fact, Kevin was an intern at Arnold on the Truth account, and I went to the account director, great guy, threw the file on his desk, and I said, way to spot future talent. He's like, dude, really? Like, no, I'm just joking. But he was an intern. And the thing is that when you think about building products, like Instagram, they don't need advertising. The product is the advertising. And how many hundreds of millions of people caught on real quick? Same as Snapchat right now.
So these guys, not all of them are involved heavily in the creative process. Some are just coders, and that's what they want to do. But one of the ideas we're going to show you today, later in the presentation, was conceived by one of our technology directors. So we're seeing real examples of engineers really driving our creative culture. I've been on all sides. I've worked in the brand and the digital area, and I worked in the digital company, and I really believe that ad people make great digital developers and product developers and inventors, because we understand story, emotion, and culture. And those are things, frankly, that a lot of people don't. And I look back at my career, and I did great work at RGA, and I love that place. It was like getting my master's degree in web design and development. But I did my best work, and some of my best work in an ad environment. Pizza Tracker, Domino's.com was the 4th largest e-commerce platform in 2011 in terms of transaction volume, and that's an ad agency doing that. And that's because we were able to look at the technology they had, and then try and build a story around it. The Pizza Tracker, people ask like how long that take to make. Well, it only took a few weeks for us to get it up, because this was technology that already existed. It was used to track efficiency. It was a CRM platform, internal CRM platform, essentially. And we just put a story around it. And Fred Wilson, he's a big VC. He kind of fucked us with this line. Marketing's what you do when your products sucky. But here's what I'd say: most products fucking suck. And like, look at this. I mean, I don't know about your inbox, but I get bombarded by like ad tech every single day, and this industry is the worst at branding itself. And I do think that we're at I feel like Silicon Valley is starting to change their tenor around brand and marketing, but it's just changing, and I really believe that there's real opportunity for ad people to play in this game more.
So this is something I've always, when I started out as an art director, this is the thing I said to myself all the time working on a project, is that no one cares what I have to say. And I say this to clients all the time. There's nobody out there waiting for anything that you have to say or I have to say, because they're bombarded. People are busy. We're all busy. But it's our job to make people care, right? That's the hardest part. So how do you break through? What do we need to do to get through to people, or stop them, or disrupt them? Because with skip culture, the fact that they're busy, the fact that they're seeing 20,000 messages a day, they're not going to pay attention to us. I've said to clients before who just want to talk about the product. I said, I got a great idea. Saturday night, y'all come over to my house. I'm going to show 3 hours of baby pictures. my kids. It's going to be awesome. We're going to sit around my house and look at all my kids' pictures. And they're like, oh, okay. It's like, no, that's a fucking terrible idea. That's like the only people that care about my kids are me and my wife. No one else gives a shit about looking at baby pictures of my children. And well, yeah, okay. But it would still be boring as shit because no one cares. And the point is that's what it's like when you just keep putting your product center and focus of everything, because it's just like putting your baby pictures out there. And it's like, I don't know, I look at Instagram and it's like baby picture, baby picture, baby picture, baby picture. It's like, okay, great, you love your kid, but it's really not that interesting to a lot of people.
And I love this. I mean, even I've made a lot of horrible websites in my time that no one visited. And it's the same, we apply the same logic to whatever we do. And, you know, great invention solves a problem that no one else has, or it does it better, but adding this layer of ad thinking onto our products has really worked. So we're going to talk about 5 things pretty quickly. We got some video.
We're doing a time check. We're zeroing in on cocktails, everybody. So
this is the exciting part.
This is the best
part.
Hold
on.
So there's 5 things that we've identified. They work for us. They may not work for everybody, but they work for us. Number 1.
So the first one, everything needs an idea. If you're an ad person, you're like, yeah, no shit. But for a lot of people that come from technology, they think a feature is an idea, and it's not. And when I joined Crispin, I learned that like pretty quickly. That, you know, I learned the power of an idea, a name, something. You know, one thought I always had is like adages, right? They've lasted for thousands of years because they're easy to share. And that's something that I think in today's economy, in the world in which we live, it's super important to have an idea. Pete talks a lot about the pub test. You know, when you go to pub, if no one will remember the name at the pub after they've gotten really inebriated, you probably don't have an idea. So I'm going to talk about VW.com. This is a website redesign project we did a couple years ago. It was a global site. It was massive. It took 2.5 years. And I've worked on a lot of car websites. You've all used them. And they all look the same. They're all basically glorified brochures. And in the States, we all really don't like dealers that much because we don't trust them. And part of the reason that we found is you go online, you build your car, your dream car, which we would call unicorns. And then you go to the dealership and they're like, well, we don't have that one, but we've got this one that's similar. And if you really push them, they'll go find you the right car. Or if you have a Tesla, you can, which is probably the right way to order a car, you can get it. But most car sites really fuck the user over. And we wanted to change that. So the team did a lot of research, and they came to us and said, we have a great idea. And we're really excited about this, Pete and I. And then I'm not going to mention names, but then this is what they came back with. They're like, so here it is. It's a non-linear inventory search tool. And this was kind of my reaction. Having worked in advertising a little bit, I'm like, that is not, we've got some training to do here. So we actually sat in the room, and there was a developer and a strategist and a couple other creatives, and we looked at this prototype, and I said, well, let's dig into this because we're not going to make that. And at least we're not going to call it that. And we looked at this prototype, and I started thinking that, you know what, buying a car is a little bit like choosing a mate. It's rational and highly emotional. And so we went through, you know, it's like, and I said, well, you know, I told my wife I haven't used a dating site ever, but, you know, anyway, here we go. So I was like, it's the same as almost saying, you know, I like blonde hair, blue eyes, which my wife has, and I want to know where that inventory is near me right away. So we like this metaphor. And we believe metaphor can be a powerful thing, even with product design. And so we said, well, let's make the Match.com of car shopping, or a dating site for cars. And these are long, arduous projects. So you got to have fun. And you also got to center on a mission. So the team put this poster up, which makes fun of me, but also really aligned us around this idea. And, you know, the fun thing is really important, but so is the singularity on the idea. So we really leaned into Match.com. It's a 2.5-year-long process. And we really, here's the video, the teaser that launched to work on to launch the site. You'll see it came out pretty close to original concept.
Most boats have bilge pump systems. It's going to bring water in to the boat to help you with ballast. It sounds crazy to bring water in because it would be sinking. You understand the principles of that. What I always say is, you know, pump today, live tomorrow. I do say that sometimes.
Finding your perfect match is pretty tough.
Put a pump.
You're gonna go on a lot of dates, have your fair share of disappointments, and probably come across some real gems along the way.
So the bilge pump is, I think, the most important part of any boat.
Luckily, dating sites came along and made finding the one easier.
You have a really small mouth.
Well, most of the time. No one can make finding your perfect mate any less brutal.
Are you ticklish?
But Volkswagen has rethought the entire car shopping process and built the new VW.com with inspiration from dating sites.
Bilge pump inside the boat.
Now, you can choose exactly what you're into. Colors, features, how much you want to spend. Then, the site will find matches in your area and set you up with the newer used Volkswagen that's right for you. Each car even has its own profile page. But unlike on a dating site, they're actually truthful.
And
So for once, you can find the one, equipped with everything you want. Introducing the new VW.com. It's like a dating site, except it's for cars. And it's better.
A kind of ad stunt. It led to 60% increase in conversions or lead contacts for the dealer. So good example of like bringing story and idea to a web platform. Treat it more like marketing than IT is what I say. Go ahead. So the next one I learned is the power of a sticky name. And I'm going to talk about REI. We've all seen this case study, but we were actually in this pitch and I screwed it up. Pretty big. Our friend Will and Lee kind of won.
Totally fucked it up.
Yeah, totally messed it up. Way messed it up. And so the client came to all the agencies and said, we've got this amazing idea. We want to close on Black Friday. And we're like, yeah, that's amazing. We'll come back with some bunch of other ideas too. So I think what Venables really did cleverly is just, if you think about this idea, it's a hashtag. There was a like an event they wanted to do. And they brought a shareable, a hooky name to this thing that really turned it from just a tactic into a large, kind of a bit of a movement, particularly in the outside industry, outdoor industry.
In the news tonight, another Black Friday has arrived.
Honored tradition, Black Friday.
Lines are already forming, hundreds of people deep.
Just a handful of
This
door-crasher deals inside.
Retailers opening their doors on Thanksgiving evening.
These employees took their Thanksgiving dinners to go.
The doors are opening.
Shoppers rushed
Shoppers.
It was a chaotic scene.
Winner. So the name is really important, and people don't spend enough time thinking about it. And a lot of people, someone like, oh, you're good at making names. I'm like, well, it's more than a name. It's the idea. It's the expression of a strategy. So I'm going to show another video here around TacoBell.com, which is now called Ta.co. And I'll tell you the story about the URL after the video here.
In 2015, Taco Bell wanted to bring fast food ordering to the web. But the thing is, nobody gets fast food off fast food websites. Actually, nobody goes to fast food websites at all. Why? I mean, look around. Lots the same, but not much to offer. So then how does Taco Bell change all that? Well, it started where every website starts, the URL. Because the way we see it, TacoBell.com sounds like just another fast food website. But Ta.co? That sounds like a place for people who love tacos, which is really what we're all about. Not our wild food names, fourth meal culture, and edible experiments. Sure, we do all those, but it's really all there for one reason. We love tacos and everything they represent. So, our URL became a simple but powerful statement about who we are, not just what we're called, and gave people an idea of what they could expect to find when they got there too. Like food photography that looks like it came from an Instagram feed instead of a studio. Product descriptions written to make you want to read everything. And the internet's most original e-commerce site for tacos, where you can customize any Taco Bell menu item. Then order it on the spot. The kind of stuff you'd never expect to see on a typical fast food website. But a site called Ta.co? Absolutely. Because that's what tacos are all about. Fun, freedom, creativity. They're easy to eat on the go. Like our site. And kind of funny. Like our site. Everything a taco represents and the brand whose mission it is to bring them to the masses. All explained in only 5 characters. Leaving plenty of room for people to express themselves about it. which they did. A lot. Some even said it was perfect. And with the average order on ta.co being 2.5 times higher than in-store and 40% higher than the mobile app, I guess others just let their stomachs do the talking. So much for never visiting a fast food site, huh? Ta.co. Proof that Taco Bell is the internet's biggest taco advocate, and that sometimes less is más. Thanks for watching.
So just that URL change is one of our favorite ideas, and it was one of the team members came up with it late in the process. There's a couple of cool things, is that thinking of, only a creative company would think of using a URL as a new piece of media, but then also it's that handle. And actually the story of the URL itself was the CD that came up with it, then worked with the QA lead without really telling any of us, and they had to anonymously contact the Colombian government to get that URL without tipping anyone off that it was Taco Bell, and it was a bit of a negotiation. We're happy it happened. That's you, man.
So another principle is make it fun. I mean, what are we in this business for anyway? If it's fun, it's entertaining, and people will engage. If we're boring, like maybe we are right now, maybe people won't engage. I don't know how many of you have Alexa. We got one for our office. She's not that great at parties. We thought it was going to be awesome, but it's not a lot of fun. It actually kind of sucks, because it's like, yeah, play some music, and she'll play music, and but it's like really boring. So we thought, you know what, all this technology is coming out, but why does that limit us from having fun with technology? So Volkswagen has the GTI, it was coming out, and we actually wanted to use AI for a digital project to get across the idea of how much fun the GTI is. So this video, it's up next, is called Unleash Your R.
As kids, we used to have so much fun pretending to be race car drivers. But as we grow up, driving becomes less and less fun. Packing 292 horsepower, the new Golf R was built to re-inject some serious fun into everyday driving. Introducing Unleash Your R, an online experience that harnesses the power of your voice to drive a car, just like you used to as a kid. By unleashing your inner R, the Golf R magically reacts, whipping around historic Willow Springs racetrack. Your screeching sounds make the car drift. Your roar makes it accelerate. Every sound you unleash triggers a different maneuver. What seemed like magic was actually the world's first artificial intelligence brain that could understand human car sounds. Until now, AI engines like Siri could recognize language, but no technology could understand abstract sounds and emotions. So we built our own. And to perfectly sync the Golf R with your car sounds, we shot hundreds of clips to create millions of possible unique combinations. Then we unleashed it through an online and social media campaign. From Police Academy's Michael Winslow, the king of sound effects, to Fast and Furious stunt driver Tanner Faust. People everywhere let loose and shared, unleashing their R in over 100 countries. And inventory sold in record time. In one universal language, everyone got to experience the fun of driving the Golf R.
That's the beauty of having developers, technologists, and creative people working together, hand in hand. They're not separate groups. We all work together. Everybody sits around tables and cracks on the idea. And this is the product that comes out of it.
Yeah, we had been working on AI. Everyone's got a lab now, but it's like basically a little room with a really smart developer, actually who's a rocket scientist. And he'd been working on AI for a while, and then this guy we love on the creative team came up with this idea, and they just started jamming on us together. I have to say, during the development process, the agency sounded ridiculous. I mean, the whole place was, everyone's QAing this, but it's pretty fun. And I'm really passionate about AI and chatbots, and you read a lot about this, but branded AI really, this is going to be a big area. It's going to change the way people interact with brands, and I think the opportunity, again, for our industry is to bring a level of creativity and fun and magic and surprise to it. Firsts, this is something that I learned very early on coming to the ad world. Even at RG, I was probably more focused on designing a really beautiful product. And then when it came to Crispin, there was a real premium on originality. And Andrew Keller spoke earlier, but I learned a lot from him too, in the sense that we worked on this application called Epic Mix for Vail Resorts. It's basically Nike Plus for skiing. And then I showed it to him. He's like, yeah, but that's Nike Plus for skiing. It's already been done before. And then I remember, so we went back and we put more of a mobile focus on it. And then it became the Nike Plus. Nike Plus meets Gowalla of skiing, so at least we got that in there. But the power and push of originality is important. Domino's did this, right? They've done a lot with the Anywhere campaign. Worked in the brand a long time ago, but really kind of pushing it. And this is an idea that we had too for Pizza Hut years ago, but they moved fast. They moved fast, and they put a premium on firsts. I talked about AI, so this is a new product that we just launched for Taco Bell, and I'm going to let the video play, but it's something I'm super excited about. And this was, again, conceived and pushed through by one of our developers.
In 2015, Slack was all the rage.
Slack is trying to change the way you work.
Think of it as having social media,
but with all your colleagues in it. Considered one of the fastest growing business apps in history.
Now, to be clear, Taco Bell didn't invent Slack, and we also didn't invent artificial intelligence. But we did use the heck out of both of them to change the way people order food together forever. Meet TacoBot. A totally new, totally intelligent way for people to order food together on Slack. Just tell TacoBot what you want, or tell TacoBot what you don't want. No clunky buttons or confusing commands necessary. Because we built TacoBot with an artificial intelligence engine, it can talk to everyone at the same time and understands natural language, even slang, and interacts like a real live human. So even though you're communicating with a machine, you don't have to talk like one. Divulge to TacoBot you're a little drunk, and like a good friend, it'll add a cup of water to your order because, well, you're drunk. Ask it to make your order vegetarian if you're into that sort of thing. Or be nosy and ask TacoBot about its dating life. Or its gym habits. In a word, TacoBot e-commerceized the top co-working platform on the planet. And it did it in a way that people couldn't stop talking about.
TacoBot.
TacoBot.
The TacoBot.
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 Yep, TacoBot works with Slack.
No, seriously. TacoBot was almost embarrassed by how much people loved it.
So you're like, yo, TacoBot, I need a quesalupa. The TacoBot is like, totally, let's do this.
Go ahead and say TacoBot again. It's so fun.
Yep, TacoBot.
So if TacoBot can use artificial intelligence to revolutionize ordering on Slack, and its intelligence is getting smarter by the hour, what will TacoBot be able to do next? Thanks for watching.
Getting back to the last point here in firsts, even the client asks us to first matter, and I would say meaningful first. You don't want to just put something out there that's shit and isn't going to create value. But moving fast is really important, and we've learned it before.
I mean, the emoji thing, we love Tony Calcaio and all the guys at Crispin on Domino's. We pitched Pizza Hut. We had the pizza ordering emoji. Stalled. It's the biggest lesson ever. And cut to can, and there's Tony on stage with a Grand Prix. We'll all come up with the same ideas at the same time. It's whoever gets it done first. It's a lot of times it's a race, and a lot of times people drag their feet. It's human behavior. And we're trying to get over that, to keep pushing clients to buy things faster, and also to iterate a lot quicker too. Once they do buy something, once we start building it, it's going to fail. Just keep iterating on it and keep building on it and make it better.
Yeah, and something like this too, it just didn't go through a lot of approval rounds. We just kind of let the team just go and build it, get it out there, ship it. So it's an important thought.
This is the last one? Last one. Cocktail time. This is something I've always believed in, find an enemy. And what it really means is any great story, any great song, any great piece of written work has a protagonist and antagonist. It's not rocket science, it's not breakthrough, but it's a fundamental that so many people forget. And again, it's getting back to the baby pictures, right? It's like no one is going to really pay attention if you're going to shoot down the middle. Our brains are even wired for this, right? I say white, you say black, You say day, you say night, unless you're a total asshole and you're trying to fuck me over. But our brains need that polarity. They need those polar opposites. So if we don't have a great antagonist to our protagonist, then we really don't have a story. And there's some really great examples out there, but there's one in particular, and we know Mike Dubin from Dollar Shave Club. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's perfect. His company is perfect because he had the best enemy on the planet. Gillette charging me $52 fucking for blades every time I go to CVS. It's ridiculous. So this video blew up his company, made him extremely successful, and now what did he just get, another $300 million in capital?
A lot more money, but he's also number 2 to Gillette in terms of volume. But the point about, like, we talk about enemy, Mike's kind of like a double enemy because he took our VW design team. We're over it. We're friends again. But
he rated us.
But the point here too, we'll show the video. Everyone's seen it, but it's always fun to watch again. Is that this is an idea Pete's talked about. We even talked about it when we were at Crispin. But I use it for designing products too. And going back to that Steve Jobs slide, he thought it really pushing up against IBM drove a lot of their product decisions.
That was the whole story of Apple. I mean, Mac versus PC, 1984. All of it was in that photograph of Steve Jobs giving IBM logo the finger. The entire company, their narrative was based on that. Anyway, so here's Mike's thing. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
So we're big fans of Mike, actually, and they're doing really well. And what I like about him, he's a digital guy that understands insights and marketing. He also did a lot of stand-up, and it's working. And they're going to continue to do this. A lot of their new products they're launching, they really push this enemy idea into it. So here's our recipe for success. As Pete said, so it may work for you, and we found some of this successful for us. Everything needs an idea. We always say when teams give us a two-page explanation of an idea, it's not an idea. There may be something in there, but it has to be less than 140 characters. It's got to be something you remember. And that gets into the sticky name. I think the fun piece is really important. We forget it, particularly when we're working in technology. I mean, I love Amazon. I'm a huge user, but I really believe it could be a lot more fun and better. It's over-engineered, and like a lot of tech from Silicon Valley, there's no heart and there's no soul to it. And I think that all of us, many of us in this room, can, I've done it once or twice. We can get in the game and kick some ass in this area. And the first thing is big, and then the enemy piece. And that's our show. Go drink. I think we got one more slide here. Well, 2 more slides, actually. So this is a mission we wrote at the agency a few years ago. It's an audacious goal, essentially, and an acknowledgement that we're competing with every single thing out there. It's invent the most original shareable work in the world. And it can be, some of our teams get like a little afraid of it, and they should, because it's such a big goal. But originality to us just means make it feel like news. It's got to feel like it's something new, even if it's 2 ideas brought together. And the shareable piece is simple. Why would you share it? I often think, why would my mom share it? That works for me. And that's it. Shia, I'd like to thank you. Thank you very much.